2018, la Asociación Internacional de Universidades La Salle conmemora sus primeros 20 años de colaboración. A continuación, tendremos un panel que nos permitirá reconocer nuestra historia común, dimensionar nuestro presente y comenzar a imaginar un futuro para nuestra red global de universidades. Nuestro panel está integrado por el hermano Robert Schiller, Álvaro Rodríguez, Carlos Coelho, Giovanni Anzola, y para dirigir este panel cedo la moderación a John Landeros, integrante del board de IALU.
This is just a little bit of reminiscing, a little bit of reflection on the experiences that we have shared in the evolution of our association. And I think that the commentary that we've had through this morning indicates where we are now as an association and the great challenges that we have for the future. I would like to begin because I'm probably the grandmother of this group. I've invited some friends here to share some of their experiences with the association. I'd like to begin by presenting Brother Álvaro Rodríguez, who is now the president of Salle University in Costa Rica. And Brother Álvaro had a very important role in supporting the development of higher education in the Institute as the last Superior General. I've invited, of course, our present leader and Superior General, Brother Robert, and Giovanni, who was the executive secretary for IALU during the presidency of Brother Carlos Gomez, and now our present and permanent administrator of the association, Carlos Coelho. To begin with, I believe that there's a video that they're going to show. Are we going to begin with that?
It's 2048. La Salle University is the world's most important formation, research, and innovation network. La Salle universities are present in all the 5 continents. They are considered a benchmark in social innovation, accessible quality education, and the training of highly qualified and committed transformation agents. In recent decades, they have been an important piece in overcoming poverty, promoting and respecting human rights. La Salles have contributed to the fight against corruption and injustice. They have supported responses to climate change and biodiversity. There is inclusive global community where everyone is considered. But where did the story begin? It could be said that La Salle higher education was born with the founder and his concern for teacher education. In 1685, Juan Bautista de La Salle opened a formation center for rural teachers, considered as a precedent of normal schools. In the early 1850s, Manhattan College of New York and the Agricultural Institute of Beauvais opened their doors as the first registered La Salle institutions of higher education within a few months of each other. Throughout the first decade of the 20th century, prominent colleges continued to be founded, as well as universities and La Salle technical institutes in France, Spain, and the United States. La Salle higher education was established in Asia Pacific with the founding of the La Salle Manila in 1911. In 1957, the La Salle Foundation of Natural Sciences was created in Venezuela. During the same decade, the first Latin American La Salle University opened its doors in La Habana, but it was closed because of the Cuban Revolution before its first graduation. Soon after, La Salle University, Mexico City, de La Salle Bogotá, and de La Salle Bajío were founded in the early 60s. In 1973, in cooperation with the Palestinian leaders and the Vatican, the University of Bethlehem was founded. Le Centre Glasilien Africain in Avignon, Côte d'Ivoire, started in 1991. In 1996, the Christ, the Teacher Institute of Education, was founded in Tangasa College in Nairobi, Kenya. The first decade of the 21st century brought with it the opening of 12 Lasallian universities in Andorra, Bolivia, Brazil, the United States, Mexico, Nicaragua, and Peru. The second decade of the new millennium began with the foundation in 2012 of the Open University, the Lasallian Online University with its headquarters in Andorra. The projects for the Ethiopian Catholic University, Lasalle Addis Ababa, and the Lasallian University in Burkina Faso were defined in the same decade. As a sign of times, in little more than a century, the Lasallian educational mission expanded to include higher education with notable institutions in most of the world's regions. The collaboration between Lasallian universities began to be written in 1978 when Dr. José Cervantes, appointed as the General Counselor for the Educational Mission, convened for the first time all directors and presidents for the first Encuentro in Morelos, Mexico. 10 years later, as rector of La Salle, Mexico City, and with the approval of Brother John Johnson, he called a second meeting, bringing together 33 representatives from around the world. In the 80s and 90s, the tendency of regional associations began to develop among Lasallian universities. The Lasallian Association of College and the University Presidents, LACUP, formed in the United States, ILMAS in Mexico, the Perla Project in Latin America. In Europe, they were grouped in response to the Bologna process, and in the Philippines, one Lasalle emerged. 20 years later, in 1998, during Encuentro XII in Rome, the International Lasallian Association for Higher Education was born, and with it, great hopes and expectations for Lasallian universities. Brother Craig France was elected the first president. For the 43rd General Chapter in 2000, recommendations to universities and tertiary institutions' services were clear, precise, and vital for the future of the Institute. During the 6th Encuentro held in 2001 in the Philippines, the name was changed to the International Association Lasallian Universities, which was international, inclusive, and unified. In 2004, the Encuentro XII was held in Barcelona. In 2007, Brazil was the site for the Encuentro VIII. During the 44th General Chapter, Lasallian universities were recognized as a miracle in our common history, an unprecedented event in more than 350 years of service to society and to the Church. The following encuentros were held in 2009, 2012, and 2015, hosted by Lasallian universities in Philadelphia, Manila, and Bogota. The processes for the planning and construction of collaborative networks were well established through regional meetings and international gatherings of Lasallian colleges. In 2012, the association was legally constituted, and in 2017, the One LaSalle project was created to promote and facilitate student mobility among the institutions of the network. In 2018, when celebrating its 20th anniversary, the International Association of Lasallian Universities has a presence in 17 countries with more than 60 universities where 250,000 students are formed through academic excellence and a humanistic approach. By now, more than 600 Lasallian university leaders have gathered in Rome, and 200 students have participated in the Global Leadership Program. There are programs with double degrees and postgraduate programs in collaboration among several of the universities. Research projects oriented towards social innovation are articulated through the Lasallian International Research Network, and collaboration, innovation, and development networks are promoted. Throughout the world, Lasallian universities have health centers, innovation parks, community development centers, photovoltaic parks, state-of-the-art laboratories, specialized workshops and transfer centers, all of which are geared towards the sustainable development of humanity. The social responsibility of the universities is present in volunteer social outreach actions, emergency response, and hundreds of projects focused on the transformation of society and the preservation of the environment. In 2028, La Salle became the largest network of universities in the world. There is free, physical, and virtual mobility among the nearly 80 institutions of La Salle universities. By the year 2032, La Salle has facilitated access to quality education for vulnerable communities and marginalized groups in all its regions. With the support of the Lasallian universities in 2035, the Brothers of the Christian Schools created the first fully self-sustainable schools using solar energy and recycled rainwater. 2048, at the 50th anniversary of the International Association, the Lasallian educational mission continues. Our thousands of graduates and the university communities that have formed them continue to improve education everywhere. They direct companies, organizations, and governments with relentless commitment to the common goods. Doctors and health specialists improve the quality of life. Our researchers contribute to solving the causes of poverty. Our humanists and theologians support our conscience. Our artists celebrate the human spirit. The International Association has become an integral part of the life of the Institute and of each Lasallian university. The Lasallian Network is a benchmark for cooperation in universities around the world. Lasallian universities are communities of memory and hope for society. Diversity is our strength, from education, research, development, and innovation. We face global challenges to build a more just and fraternal future for all.
I think we get an idea of what the family looks like. I think we all should be very proud of what we have constructed together and what our future holds for our future collaborative efforts. I'd like to take this moment to pass the microphone to Brother Alvaro and ask him to share some reflections about his experience with Lasallian higher education and IALU.
Muy buenos días a todos y a todas. Es con mucho gusto que he aceptado participar en este panel, recordando lo vivido y proyectándonos hacia el futuro. Y yo creo que cuando recordamos acontecimientos del pasado, los debemos vivir como nos lo pide la memoria bíblica. No se trata simplemente de recordar lo que ya se vivió, sino de ver qué nos dice eso hoy y a qué compromisos nos debe llevar. De manera que en este sentido quisiera expresar algunas ideas en base a mi experiencia personal y a lo vivido. Esa memoria que nos invita a comprometernos cada vez más en la misión del Instituto, en hacer llegar la salvación sobre todo a aquellos que se hallan más alejados de ella. Una salvación integral, cuerpo y alma, cabeza, manos, pies, corazón. Mi primera experiencia con la IALU fue precisamente siendo vicario general en 1998, cuando nace ya como actualmente la tenemos. Y fue una experiencia un poco especial porque yo estaba de superior, el hermano John Johnston, pero él invitó al vicario y a los consejeros que estábamos en Roma a participar también en esta asamblea. Y recuerdo que lo que me llamó la atención en aquellos momentos fue una cierta tensión. Realmente se daba una tensión que yo creo era intercultural. Todos tenemos un poco la idea de que nuestra cultura es la mejor. Y yo creo que el camino hecho por la IALU en estos años, sobre todo yo lo valoro, en que hemos aprendido a vivir de una manera intercultural, con esa doble actitud que debe caracterizar al que quiere vivir la interculturalidad. Pobre para recibir y rico para dar. Podemos aportar mucho a partir de nuestra propia identidad, pero podemos aprender mucho a partir de las otras culturas, dar y recibir. Y yo creo que lo que hoy estamos viviendo es la culminación, siempre inacabada, porque hay que continuar siempre caminando, pero es la culminación de un proceso que nos ha llevado a una relación más fraterna, más sororal, más abierta a los valores de la Salle y menos apegada a ciertos aspectos de nuestras propias culturas. Recuerdo después mi participación en las distintas los distintos encuentros, el de Barcelona, el de Brasil, Filadelfia, Manila, como superior general, y posteriormente Bogotá y México ya como representante de la Universidad La Salle de Costa Rica. Pero también mis encuentros en ese curso maravilloso de liderazgo que cada mes de junio se ha tenido en Roma desde hace ya bastantes años y que creo es uno de los aportes más ricos, más valiosos de la IALU a nivel internacional. Recuerdo también, como ya nos lo han recordado, que en el año 2000 por primera vez un capítulo general habló expresamente de la misión de la universidad en la educación lasallista, invitándonos a investigar y a centrarnos un poco en las raíces de la pobreza. Y en el capítulo posterior, lo que nos pidió a la IALU el capítulo general fue precisamente la defensa de los derechos del niño. Ustedes saben que este fue un tema que llevó en el corazón el hermano John Johnston y que continúa a ser una de las características, o debe ser una de las características de la misión lasallista a nivel mundial, la defensa de los derechos del niño, la niña, el adolescente. Yo creo que esta mirada, decía que debemos verla como memoria, nos hace mirar hacia atrás. Un autor decía, si miramos hacia atrás es para ver de dónde venimos, pero debemos caminar adelante. Y creo que lo más importante de esta conmemoración es ver hacia dónde. Aquí nos han presentado un sueño con años futuros, que ojalá hagamos realidad con nuestro esfuerzo, con nuestra entrega. Estas serían simplemente algunas ideas que en este momento con mucho gusto comparto con ustedes y que me siento muy contento ahora de ser parte de la IALU.
Muchas gracias, hermano Álvaro. Brother Robert.
Thank you. I thought I was going to be last. What I would like to say is to take the words of Brother Álvaro now into the future as your video showed. I look forward to the 80 universities in 2032 and all the things that will be accomplished. My appreciation for IALU and its development is the growing closeness between the association and the center of the Institute. And in each of the last 3-4 general chapters, there have been efforts to finally recognize the importance of our universities and the role they play in the Lasallian mission globally. And that has continued to evolve in a very strong and positive direction. As Brother Alvaro was mentioning, how the general chapters incorporated the need for our Lasallian universities in terms of research. The most recent general chapter in 2014 created a governance link in that our International Association and Mission Council has a seat for a representative of IALU. And we also identified a general counselor who is a member of the board of IALU. And for me, that's one of the most significant recent developments that brings us much closer to get together as a network. And I'm confident in the future that that is only going to become a closer association for the benefit of all those entrusted to our care, and especially the most vulnerable and the marginalized. What you have accomplished in the last 20 years, the international programs, the student leadership program, the program in Rome that, again, has completed 12 years, and the most recent program of LUCE, the Lasallian Center for Education in Rome, those are things that, from my point of view, we need to not only continue, but strengthen and increase. A question I always ask the participants who come to the program in Rome from your universities is, did you speak with those who were there before? Because after 12 years, in each of our universities, there's a growing number of your professors, your administrators, who have had this common experience. An experience that when they arrive, they're not even aware that there are other Lasallian universities in different parts of the world. And some are not always interested in learning about the Lasallian heritage. But after 2 weeks of that program, without proselytizing, they're evangelized for the mission. And I think in each of our universities, you have a core of people who have the experience of that program, and I just wonder how much conversation they have together and what they can take back to their university to continue making the Lasallian mission a vital mission. The program that we did for 1 semester with the help of Dominic Colonna from Lewis University and the support of our presidents in the United States, I think is like that first year of the formation program for your professors and administrators. That has great potential to bring our young people, as we heard in the last presentation, from around the world into another community experience where we see, again, we may come from different cultures, we may come from different religions or no religion, we have a variety of ethnicities, but we are one human family. And I think at this present time, as I said in my remarks, we need to really be aggressive in advocating that we are all one family, and as Pope Francis says, we share a common home. We have great task now, I think immediate task, to educate our young people that politics is not for their own benefit, but to serve. And social media is not for their own benefit, but to serve. Our young people, as you know better than me, are idealistic and want to belong to something greater than themselves. We give them that opportunity, and as the current superior, I look forward to having an even stronger relationship and a commitment on our part from the center of the Institute and your part as an association to really make this century an incredible century of Lasallian mission spearheaded by our universities. So thank you for your support, thank your presence here, and thank you what you do every day in your university.
Thank you, Brother Robert. I'd like to pass the microphone to those that have had the experience of working through. Really, the one thing is ideas, one thing is the concepts on paper. Another thing is getting the people together, getting personal commitment. And I believe that the two gentlemen that are sharing the sofa have lived through that process with great style and with tremendous successes. And I think that it's only fitting that they have their opportunity of giving their testimony and sharing with us their views for the future.
Encuentro que más impacto fue el año 2012, porque tuve que preparar cambio de vida. Fue una experiencia muy bonita, haber trabajado durante tantos años para la Asociación Internacional de Universidades de la Salle. Empecé con el tema con la Asociación de las Filipinas, un encuentro maravilloso que me ayudó a entender muchísimo lo que significa pertenecer a esta familia. Como celar, permítanme rendirle tributo a los hermanos de las escuelas cristianas de la Salle. Llevo 15 años trabajando en la Universidad de la Salle de Bogotá. Estudié en una universidad pública, soy licenciado en educación, no estudié en una universidad de la Salle, desafortunadamente. Pero he aprendido en estos 15 años, o más bien siento, que hoy en día no soy lasallista de formación, pero sí soy lasallista de corazón. Y los seglares hemos vivido, quienes participamos y aprendemos de los hermanos, creo que tenemos unos momentos de oportunidad maravillosos donde nuestras vidas han cambiado. Y permítame entonces comentar acerca del futuro. Recientemente me convertí en padre. Tengo un hermoso bebé de 2 meses. Y aparte de no dormir mucho por estos días, quiero traer a ustedes una reflexión acerca del futuro, porque ser padre hoy en día sí que me tiene un poco pensando sobre hacia dónde va nuestro mundo. Y créanme que encuentro en esta gran familia una oportunidad para que el mundo efectivamente sea un lugar mejor. Si yo como padre y perteneciendo a esta comunidad no lo hago, nadie lo va a hacer. El profesor Hans de Witt presentaba algunas reflexiones frente a tendencias, hacia dónde va el mundo, la educación superior, la globalización, la internacionalización, pero creo que esta gran familia tiene unos valores que son únicos y que no he podido ver en otras instituciones. Muy seguramente lo tienen, pero esta familia sí que lo hace explícito. Y es un sentido humanista por cada cosa que se hace. El centro y la atención de esta gran familia de la Asociación Internacional de Universidades de la Salle es la persona. Y nuestra preocupación está precisamente en formar mejores seres humanos. La Agenda Internacional dice que para el 2030, si no resolvemos el problema actual de devastación del planeta, no va a haber futuro para sus hijos, para mi hijo, y allí es donde nosotros podemos trabajar juntos en generar esos grandes modelos que el liderazgo lasallista ya tiene marcados. Es importante entonces, creo yo, que el sentido que nos inspira va más allá de la propia institucionalidad, es decir, lo que nos inspira es pensar en que necesitamos trabajar en una agenda conjunta para esas metas de desarrollo sostenible, ¿por qué no? Hay 17 metas que estoy seguro cada universidad de esta sala está trabajando, pero necesitamos saberlas, porque en la medida en que generemos mayores agrupaciones de trabajo, va a ser más fácil aportar a un mundo que requiere de nuestra intervención, de una educación superior que tiene que ser mucho más contundente con lo que se está haciendo en las diferentes naciones. Sin duda, cuando se habla de la movilidad de las personas, y hablamos en internacionalización, de la movilidad de los estudiantes o de los profesores, pensando en que lo que debemos buscar son indicadores de cuántos estudiantes o profesores se suben en un avión, y eso ya es tener una universidad internacionalizada. Permítame traer una apuesta para estas universidades lasallistas. La movilidad no se trata de la movilidad de personas, se trata de la movilidad del conocimiento. Y los sujetos somos los vehículos de ese conocimiento. Y necesitamos que nuestros estudiantes salgan al mundo a compartir ese conocimiento, las cosas maravillosas que hacen estas universidades. Y sin duda estoy seguro que en la medida en que ese conocimiento se propague, el mundo será mejor. Hay una invitación para todas las universidades, para los hermanos, para nosotros los seglares que participamos de esta maravillosa experiencia, a pensarnos hacia una universidad que necesita cambiar, pensarse distinto, pensar en ser referente para que otras universidades sigan un ejemplo maravilloso que solo los hermanos de la Salle han sabido asumir con un liderazgo importante para que, como lo decía al principio, nuestro mundo sea un poquito mejor. Gracias.
Me gustaría invitar a Carlos Coelho, que tiene el timón de la efectivo de la asociación, a compartir alguna reflexión.
Well, good morning to all. Good morning to actually good afternoon now. So I'll keep this extremely short so we can get to lunch as soon as possible. But also that I'm going to have the chance to address you in a little bit more longer format later in the week. So I'll just give some brief commentary at this point. It's really an honor being here and surrounded by those people because when I started at LaSalle, it was in grade 1, and I studied in LaSalle from grades 1 to 12. So in Niterói, we get what they called a golden pen for studying all the time at LaSalle. And I have to say, at that particular time, the brothers' residence was above the school. And every time a brother would come to the balcony, we would run away because we were fearful of the brothers. And there was a little bit of distance from the part of the young students going to primary school and the brothers. The brothers were the figures of authority. So to be here and to have met so many brothers throughout this last 12, 13 years, and right now be sitting beside two former superior generals, it's really an honor to me and personally very rewarding. Giovanni mentioned that he just became a father. I had a similar experience when I was in Winona and I was approached, and it was both Brother William, Brother Gustavo, and Brother Jardalino who offered me the position. And my son at that time was 4 months old, and I had just promised my wife that I would travel less. But I also have to say that I did not think twice. And I think it really goes to really so much that I have learned from each and every one, from every encounter. I remember learning from Brother Andres in Bajío. We were walking around Bajío, and he was telling me, so you see that I learned from Barcelona. You see this I learned when I went to Rio. You see this I learned when I went there. And so to see these things, this is really something that it's intangible. It's very hard to put a price tag on, but the inventory of best practices that we have amongst our network, it's really something that we need to take advantage of. We heard from Hans de Witt just a while ago, and Hans is probably the foremost expert in internationalization. And if you remember his conclusions, he said, well, we cannot find a link, or it's hard for us to find a link between Catholic identity and internationalization. That is true for most cases. That is not true for our network. And this is a wonderful thing to say. We have progressed, and I will go back to the imagery of a child. For this last 20 years. And now it's really our job, and I'll put the emphasis on our job and not my job only, but our job to make it so that when we meet in 2038, we are able to say the same. So thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much for your words. Would somebody else have any other commentary to make about the future? Just very short. We have just a couple minutes. Message of what you think we'll be doing, say, in the next 3 years?
I think it has been alluded to that we have 150 participants in this Encuentro. This is not a small number, and this is not a trivial number. It has also been alluded that other people were invited to participate in this Encuentro. If we want to have a successful next 20 years, a successful future, it's going to take everyone. It's not going to be the presidents. It's not going to be only the board. It's certainly not going to be me. It's going to have to be all involved, all aboard. So from my standpoint in the association, my job is to try to facilitate the participation of others. There are some things that we do, but in most of the things we facilitate networking, we facilitate the participation. Please receive this as an invitation to really participate. Get within the program, and we'll do whatever we can to make this networking a little bit easier.
Thank you, Carlos.
I strongly believe that our universities need an umbrella theme. We always speak about our mission statements. We're all the time trying to work on an agenda connected to research, extension, teaching. But that seems as part of the institutional apparatus, right? My belief is that all of our universities should have an umbrella theme that is going to connect everything. Of course, Nelson Mandela said it, the power of education to change people's lives. But I believe that the common theme for our universities to help in our different countries is to eradicate poverty. The most terrible problem that we currently have in the world is poverty. And if universities work on research to end poverty, if we work on teaching how to eradicate poverty, if our social work goes to help communities. I remember the words of a brother who used to say that we need to create new knowledge that goes to those people who do not read papers. And that's the most powerful thing that this family, this La Salle family, can actually contribute to this world society. So we have to keep up the momentum of what we're doing right now. I do believe in every single person in this room. And I believe that if IALU can promote this, put in themes, strategic themes for the universities in an agenda, in a common agenda, I'm pretty sure that we're all going to contribute to that aim of giving our children a better place to live.
Yo quisiera reforzar la idea del hermano Robert sobre servicio. Educar para servir es el lema de nuestra universidad en Costa Rica. Y yo creo que uno de los aspectos más importantes de la educación universitaria, aprendizaje, investigación, es el último, transformación. Educar para transformar el mundo de acuerdo a los valores del Evangelio. Y yo estoy pensando ahora en Nicaragua y en esos jóvenes universitarios que han dado su vida. Y yo creo que si habrá un cambio en Nicaragua, se deberá a los jóvenes universitarios. Yo creo que esto es una realidad que en el mundo vamos a ir viviendo cada vez más. Yo pensé también en aquellos jóvenes norteamericanos cuando la última masacre, o la penúltima, en Florida, que a mí me pareció que ellos eran los que iban a ser capaces de cambiar. Que ojalá también en nuestras universidades lasallistas lo más importante sea formar para la transformación, un mundo que se acerque más al reino de Dios.
Hermano, you have the last word.
We are a global educational, spiritual resource, human and otherwise, that can respond effectively to a secularized, pluralistic world. For me, that's a good umbrella, because together we have a rich heritage of participating in God's plan of salvation. And I think that participation is a way to engage secularization and not stand against secularization. Whatever the Holy Spirit has been doing these last decades, the Holy Spirit is not limited to the Catholic Church. The Holy Spirit is in the world. How do we engage secularization where the Holy Spirit wants us to go? We have the resource to respond.
Thank you very much, brother. Now it's time to celebrate. So, can we bring on the birthday cake?
por ser tu aniversario, te las cantamos aquí. Despierta, IALU, despierta, mira que ya amaneció. Ya los pajarillos cantan, la luna ya se metió. Qué linda está la mañana en que vengo a saludarte. Venimos todos con gusto y placer a felicitarte. Ya viene amaneciendo, ya la luz del día nos dio. Levántate de mañana, mira que ya amaneció.
Estoy invitando ya el panel ilustre y nuestro presidente, por favor, cortar simbólicamente no. Hermano.